my favorite, your mom's favorite, your dad's favorite, your brother's favorite, your best friend's favorite podcast. It is the one, the only Heat Check. It is comprised of three individuals that have known each other since about 6, 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? One is named Jacob Lucas, singer, songwriter, actor, entrepreneur, father of two. Then you got young Artavan Daveron, softball coach, also a father of two. Lives in Brentwood, unfortunately, but we forgive him for that. He's mostly Persian, got a sprinkle of Turkish. And then you got your boy, Zachariah. You know what I'm saying? Half Dutch, half Italian. And the three of us, we make up Heat Check, of course, under the Humm Daddies umbrella. We come to you every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And we basically talk about the sports world, and we meander, and we try to have as much fun as possible. Every week, 7 o'clock, Tuesday, on Instagram, I'm at Zach. I'm at 11 Zach 11 11 ZAK11 on X/Twitter. I am at Zach Sports ZAK Sports Art. I can never get yours right because some have a dash, some have an underscore, some have a dot. So tell the people where they can follow you on IG and Twitter.
IG art.knows.sports, Twitter artknows_sports. Holler at your boy.
And Jake Lucas, you can find everything from him. Just go look at Humm Daddies. Follow, subscribe, like, write a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever. We got a bunch to get to. It is kind of the slow time of sports, but we're always going to bring you some entertainment because we're going to find entertaining ways of talking to you about the sports world. But we want to start with this. We were all in attendance today for a memorial service for somebody that we knew that was gone too soon. By the way, did you know that we've been saying Maganus wrong the whole time?
Maganus, right?
Yeah. Did you catch that? It took me
yeah.
like 3 times. Maganus. Anyways, our friend, somebody that was closer to Jake's age, but certainly Artie and I spent time with him as well. He's the younger brother of our very good friend, Peter Maganus. George Maganus passed, gone too soon. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. I would rather focus on the good rather than the bad. I did take the time today because it wasn't that lengthy of a service, but it certainly gave you enough time to sit there and be there with your thoughts. And I learned something about myself, which is I have a really hard time going that long of a period of time without talking because you don't say a word, right? I mean, I think I whispered maybe a couple of things to Art, but I really sat there and I was like, obviously I was trying to appreciate and honor George, but I realized I sat there and I go, you need to probably spend some more time where you just shut the bleep up. You know what I mean?
Because absolutely. You do if that's your thoughts on the matter. Yeah.
Say again?
Yeah, you absolutely do. If during that you wanted to talk, you need to shut up.
Well, no, I was just like, I just realized that I have a hard time going long periods of time without talking. But anyway,
that's ADHD.
It wasn't about
probably.
me.
It's like ADD.
Oh, yeah. I tried to get that in high school to get extra time on my SATs, and they told me I didn't have it. But yes, I fully believe that I have it. Anyways, the point is about George.
Yeah.
It was about George. It was about him leaving too soon, and I didn't go last night, and I don't know whether there really would have been a time to talk. But what I would have wanted to say to the family and to Pete, he had two brothers, is that really rather than focusing on like the end of his life and the fact that he's gone, he really was a really good soul. There was like I don't know that you'll find a lot of people that will say a lot of bad things about George. He was pretty much always in a good mood. He was pretty much always positive. I remember when I was on the radio, he would text me all the time. When we went to A's games, we had a great time. He was quiet than most of the people in our crew, but he also had a personality. And for the most part, it was just all good vibes from the guy. And obviously he went far too soon, but hopefully he's at peace now. And so I just wanted to start with that as we were all at the memorial today.
Yeah. Artie, do you want to say anything? I can close on George since he's my roommate and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just happy I was able to spend some time at the church today with, George's loved ones, his close friends. I was happy to be able to sit with my own thoughts. And in some ways it was a lot for me today because actually, to Zach's point, during the service, I spent a lot of time thinking about not only George, but also sort of who I am, who I want to be, what it's like, to live and then pass, and just think about, what you want your legacy to be and what you want. I don't know. There was a part of the I don't know if they're called sermons because I'm not religious, so I apologize. But there was a part of it where they talked a little bit about sort of your role, right, and sort of the way you live your life. And so I was thinking about that, and I think to Zach's point, and to I'm sure some of what you'll talk about. I met George when he was pretty young because I met Pete when he was pretty young, and he's Pete's little brother. It's funny. I always thought of George as much younger than me, like at least 2 or 3 years. And I kind of realized he was just a year younger than me because I'm young for my grade. But just a really, beautiful soul, beautiful dude. And like, I have memories of just messing around with him in high school, plentiful. And he was always just letting us sort of be a little rough on him, letting us roughhouse with him, have fun with him. He got to roughhouse with us. And just a soul gone too early. There's more than one out of our group of friends that have gone too early. I sent a picture of Pete to Pete when he asked for some pictures, where 3 of the 8 people are no longer with us. So, we're hitting a point where we got to take care of ourselves. But to George's mom, Adele, to Ethan, to Christos, to Pete, we love you. George, we love you. Stay strong, y'all. And Jake, what you got?
Yeah. So George was the whole Maganis family have been very close to me and just very generous and very a big part of my life. For me, it's been as an adult. I think more so than the rest of everyone, because people knew George when he was a kid. When I didn't know Pete until I was maybe 14. And then I just hit it off with him a ton, and that became one of my closest friends of all time. And he still is, and he's just one of my boys. And George became that too. And I lived with George for, I don't know, how long was it? Maybe close to a year. And this was when he still had a lot of light in him. He was still a good time, and we cracked each other up. He was such a nice guy. Had such a honest, like, caring heart. And it developed into his, he had some downfalls that kind of took him down. It never took away his heart, never took away his soul. He was always just he was always that same guy inside, even though his physical appearance kind of, disintegrated in a way and went away. And he was embarrassed about it. And this was all talked about. I went to his service last night. I went to the service today. There was the burial. There's everything. And kudos to the Greek church to just really get you to have a catharsis, like to get it out of your system. There's ups and downs during these last 2 days of like just laughing, cutting up with the homies, and then all of a sudden you want to cry. And then all of a sudden you just think about life and mortality and finality. And it's just all over the place. The emotions are still there and all over the place, but it was amazing to see so many people we haven't seen in years. And even out of our own friend group, as we have kids and wives, it was cool to just see the homies that we don't see enough. You two I see all the time here, but not necessarily in person as much as we should. So I'm thankful for that. And I'm wearing this because when I lived with George, it was about 2010. We watched the 09 and 2010. We watched the World Cup religiously. He was a huge soccer guy. The whole Maganis family, huge soccer people. So I'm wearing Real Madrid. We were both into Cristiano, and we'd wake up early to watch, World Cup games, Real Madrid games. And so, he got me really into being a diehard soccer fan. And I just fell in love with Cristiano, probably because of George. And once he left Real Madrid, I haven't been much of a Real Madrid fan. But this is to you, George. This fit right here. And Christos made, like, his first comment was like, I remember when you and George lived together, it was just soccer. And it was a good time, man. And George, one of the most positive people I ever met. And goodbye, man. I love you. And it was great seeing everyone who could attend today. And that about sums it up.
And I would say for the most part, there's no easy transition, no way to really not make it awkward. But knowing Georgie the way that he is, and if you do believe in the afterlife and the whole shining down or whatever, that nothing's really gone, I struggle with that with my own dad or whatever. But I know this: George would want us to have fun and talk shit and talk about sports and remember him fondly and try to enjoy ourselves the most. He wouldn't want us mourning a ton. So again, no easy transition into sports, but I can do it this way because I will say from today, what I think a lot of us took from that is that we need to get together more often than just once when there's a fantasy football draft or it's a kid's birthday or whatever. We should be getting together more often and not just for funerals and stuff like that. Like we need to, appreciate your loved ones and your family and stuff like that. I did get the fantasy trophy, which was super awkward. I got it from Joey Flannery because I was like, how are we going to do this at a funeral? That's going to look hella inappropriate if I'm just holding on like to a gold trophy. But for the people that don't know and don't care because nobody cares about your fantasy team, we've been in a fantasy team for how many years? Like 2.5 decades or something crazy?
Yeah, this next one will be 24 years or 25.
Okay, and so Artie and I co-manage a fantasy league, and we took the trophy home. Now, unfortunately, I was going to drink out of this thing. This thing is in such rough shape that I could not. So I'm going to go pay top dollar to get this thing refurbished and get all the names updated. But yeah, there's the fantasy football trophy, and I'm going to be cherishing it. Maybe I'll bring it to Arts next time I'm out to Brentwood so he can have some time with it too. But man,
and by the way, viewer, I'm 4-time champ. I'm 4-time champ. These two co-manage, and they are 2-time champs total out of a 24-year.
Jake is literally the afterthought of the league. He has, I think, 3 titles in the first 5 years.
Titles.
Wasn't even a league.
4 titles.
And literally, Jake's team is bottom 2, 8 out of 10 years. He is a terrible player.
Wrong.
He knows
This
little
is
to
wrong.
nothing about NFL football. He has a terrible feel for
Art has made it his mission to be my troll. He's wrong.
I mean,
I will say that Jake has 2 ones that have a little bit of an asterisk back when Bob Flannery and rest in peace also and Ali were in the league and stuff like that. But it's definitely a league where we spend way too much time, probably too much money, and too much bleep talking on the text thread back and forth. And me and Artie have had our struggles. We'll never forget the story about Steven Jackson. I'll tell that just in 2 seconds. Steven Jackson, this is back before there was Twitter and everything and you could know everything. No news and notes on Steven Jackson. Next thing you know, me and Art wake up at about 10:05 a.m. Steven Jackson's in a velour suit and we lose the title because of that. But we got one. We got another one last year. So let's move on, fellas, and let's talk about Jonathan Kuminga. We got to start there, right? There's a bunch of different places that we can start. And I know that we have multiple text threads. Me, Jake, and Artie have a text thread. Then there's the Heat Check text thread that also has Dave G and Joey Starkey, the original Humm Daddies. That's a text thread. Me and Art text, me and Jake text. We all text. Now, I've got a theory on this. Now, I'm going to throw out my theory, and then I think Artie's probably going to want to jump in, and then Jake will probably be the voice of reason. This is my number one theory on why Dave G and Starkey do not want to hear anything about Kuminga. You don't want to admit that your squad made a mistake, right? You don't want to sit there and criticize your own squad. Sometimes that's easy for people to do. What, Art?
They're just company men.
Well, that's okay. That's a different way of phrasing it. I would just say that, like, it's almost like they're in denial. But just to peel the curtain back a little bit for the listeners out there, on the Heat Check thread, which is us 3 plus Dave G and Starkey and Dave G are starting to get very irritated at Artie specifically for pointing out all these things that are going on with,
They're getting offended.
Yeah, I don't know if offended's the word though. I think Starkey's
offended.
mad at Art. Like he's like, are you gonna buy an Atlanta jersey? When are you just gonna become a full-blown Hawks fan? Like I think Starkey's mad. I think Dave G. I'll let you go, Art. I think Dave G is more irritated and thinks that like Kuminga was more to blame and like I've had enough of this. Who cares? It's only been 3 games. I will just say this. This is my opinion from somebody that's not a Hawks fan. I got love for the Dubs. I don't hate them like other teams. I got love for the Dubs, but they're not my number one squad. I will just say this. There is no doubt if you take somebody that is not involved in it, right? So all 4 of you are hardcore Dubs fans. I can have a little bit more of a rational take because I can look at it through a prism where I'm not so caught up in it. I would say if you took a Knicks fan or you took a Oklahoma City fan, if you took any fan that wasn't a fan of the Hawks or the Warriors, because the Hawks might be landed on thick and the Warriors might be in a little bit of denial or pissed off or whatever. I will just say this. If you are objective in the very least, there is something there with Jonathan Kuminga. And in the very least, it was not handled well by you. If you want to put some of the blame on Kuminga and some of the blame on the Warriors and some of the blame on the GM and some of the blame on the owner and some of the blame on the coach, some of the blame on his teammates, you can do whatever you want. But in the very least, there's a ton of talent there, and that stuff got bleeped up in Golden State. I'll give it to you.
All right, Art, before you go, here's an audio clip.
Vincent, he gives it inside to Kuminga. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
With the left.
Stop everything.
Oh, man. Thank you, Golden State Warriors. We appreciate it.
Just stop what you're doing.
All right, go ahead.
I mean, I appreciate you cutting that up for us. Okay, G, if that was you, Jake, whoever the hell cut it up, thank you for cutting it up, because my oh my was Dominique Wilkins. I mean, he thought he was looking at himself. He said, what the hell am I watching? Who is this? He sees him go up. He stays in the air. If you haven't watched this dunk yet, it's one of Kuminga's better dunks, frankly. I mean, we've all seen Kuminga dunk, but it's a beautiful dunk. Put it in your left hand, yak on somebody in midair. And, I don't know, the listeners out there, you heard the thank you Warriors chants from Atlanta. I mean, okay, folks that want to talk about small sample size, folks that want to talk about he did this and did that in Golden State, say all you want. It's what Zach said. There's no Kerr sucks. There's no the Warriors are some, whatever. It is a fact at this point that Kuminga can play basketball. It was a fact 6 months ago. Anybody who watched basketball knew he could play. Now, could he play in the Warriors system? I don't know. And the argument I make is you should probably tweak your system a little and figure out a way. I think the best organizations would, especially if you invest 4 or 5 years in somebody. And my, those early returns in Atlanta that everybody who's a Kuminga hater and a Kerr stan and a Warrior stan and a Dunleavy stan and a whoever stan pretend don't exist. Just imagine what folks would be saying if he's bumming it up, not playing there, getting ran out of town because he's missing assignments. But no, you know what the coaches in Atlanta talk about? They talk about how hard he works. They talk about how good he's playing defensively. They talk about how he keeps taking passing up a good shot to get another teammate a better shot. So it seems to me, and we joked about this, I think, on the thread, that, I think Kerr did develop Kuminga. I think Kerr, for whatever reason, really had a very weirdly narrow, specific thing that Kuminga had to be, and Kuminga wasn't going to be that. But I think the proof is in the pudding. Just in 3 games, he's not going to keep this up. These numbers have been incredible. He's getting like 2.5 points per shot. But he clearly developed in Golden State, and he's playing some good basketball. In Atlanta, the grins on his face, the grins on his teammates' face, the announcers can't believe it. They have it. That's the normal.
That hurts.
But
the
that's
grins
the
hurt.
normal way you react to a young star. And I'll finish with this, Jake. To me, the last week made me sit back and really think. And I don't really use this word that often, maybe never. I'm like, damn, have I been gaslit for like a year? Like, have I been getting gaslit by the Warriors for a year? Like,
hate, by the way, hate that word.
He can't do nothing. He's so bad. He's so wrong. He's not hard enough working, this, that, and the other. So, of course, he can't get on the court. He won't listen to his coach. He can't figure out his role. I mean, shit, you put him on a team with some athletes to let him go play, and he looks perfect. So, I don't know. I'm rooting for him, and you know that. So, I might get in Atlanta. And I love Warriors. I mean, I'm not a Warriors fan. Of course, I'm a Warriors fan.
Well, I'm not a fan of the term gaslit either, unless my wife starts saying it. Then I like to say, use it against her to mirror her projection. But that's a different story. The JK thing is okay. I love the dude's game right out of the gate, like right after the draft when he started on the Warriors and he had the braids. I love the dude. I was like, this is my new favorite Warrior by far. He came out the gate hard. Like in limited minutes, he looked so athletic. He was so exciting to watch. That year, me and Joey Flannery went to the All-Star game in Cleveland, and he was playing in the rookies game, the rookie-sophomore game, and it was amazing. Like I was so juiced to have him there. Know what he did during the game? GP from Oakland, our boy Gary Payton was coaching the game. he pulled Kuminga because he took 2 shots, and I think one was an air ball 3, one was a clank 3, and then he didn't see the floor anymore. So there's something off there. There's something missing. He doesn't have the basketball IQ, I think, that Kerr wanted, and especially if he had regret over him initially because he wanted Franz Wagner. I mean, Kuminga started playing hoops at what, age 16 apparently, or something like that. That's what we heard. He's out of the Congo.
Yeah.
And he wasn't polished enough at all to play on, to get serious minutes on a championship contender right out the gate. He obviously had skill. I blame him for shutting down emotionally and mentally, and I blame Kerr for trying to make him into some old school project where you just punish him until he says, "Okay, sorry, man, I'm gonna do all I can to please you." That's not how players work these days. So I blame both parties. I think Warriors effed it up, Kuminga effed it up. Here we are. And you got to follow Green Science 15-game rule. You don't know anything until 15 games.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just say this. Clearly, I think that Kerr did not handle it well. He handled it the best that he thought, and he handled it probably the way that he had been handling it since he took over. The first time coaching was with the Warriors. I believe he was the GM in Phoenix, but this is his first time coaching, right? And so I think he probably was applying the stuff that he had applied after Mark Jackson had already been there, right? And probably been more of the disciplinary. He took over from him and then got him to the next level. Obviously, Stephen Clay had a large part to do with that, taking it to the next level. But I think there's just, I think Artie said it. If he didn't, I know he said it to me before. The key word here is adjustment, right? And you could say that about JK too. You could say JK needed to adjust, right? Like maybe he wanted the freedom that he's getting now in Atlanta, and he didn't have it as much as he did with the Warriors. But the bottom line is this. There's nothing more annoying than when you look at a situation and you go, clearly this could have worked and should have worked and didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of what the percentage of the pie is, of how you want to break it down and split it up about who gets to get blamed for whatever, the bottom line is the Warriors are lacking talent right now, and Kuminga's showing a lot of talent on Atlanta. And it's funny, Art, me and you are so much different in the way that we root for stuff, like, you win a championship, it's like NBD. I told you if any of my teams ever win one, I'm going to the damn parade. I'm buying every single piece of merchandise that I can. And you're just like, it's not a big deal. And you're also funny in this sense. Kevin Durant was there, and I won't say that you hated the Warriors when Kevin Durant was there, but it was not quite the style of ball that you liked. Whereas with me, they could sell their souls to the devil, and I wouldn't give a damn as long as it got me a championship. Now, it's different for you because you're swimming in championships, and I don't have any. But here's another thing that's different about you and I. You're rooting for Jonathan Kuminga. Whereas me, the second Kevin Durant left the Suns, I could not be rooting against that guy more. Anybody that leaves my squad, I root for the absolute worst about, which kind of makes me understand where Dave G and Starkey are coming from. But based on the stuff that's going on and based on what he's doing, again, 3 games, small sample size, whatever you want to call it, 2 games against the Wizards, I understand. You can't flip out and just say JK's like a full-blown superstar. But here's what you cannot do either. You cannot look at you cannot look at what he's doing and not say there was something there. The Warriors clearly didn't get the most out of it, and they certainly didn't get the most that they could have in terms of what they traded him for, which is a guy that's constantly sick and an expiring contract.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that Kerr handled Kuminga as poorly as you could. That is not a huge reflection on who Kerr is as a coach. But there's no 2 ways around it. You can have whatever opinion you want about Kuminga, and that can be right too, right? Like, I'm not even sitting on that part of the argument. It just frustrates me that there's actually some folks that are really sort of seeing it as like, Kuminga really can't do this, Kuminga really can't do that. And the thing is, even if he couldn't do that, then, and maybe it's not just a Kerr thing, and I think everybody actually has come around to this at that point, so maybe now I'm preaching to the choir. It's just annoying how bad the organization handled it, because it's clear they could have used him more and gotten more. And to just put him in a doghouse the way he did, it's immature as an organization, right? There's so many good organizations out there, they don't do things like that. And part of the reason it's so easy to root for Kuminga in Atlanta is you've literally never heard a player say one bad thing about Kuminga, right? Like, the only people who have every once in a while took like minor shots are Kerr and Dunleavy. And to me, that's like, go fuck yourself. Like, when coaches and GMs do that type of shit, That's when you know they're on tilt. That's actually when you know they're doing a bad job, is when they're taking little cheap shots at their players that everybody loves who's doing it the right way, right? And of course he's going to stop doing it the right way when you start messing with him, right? You can't mess with a like 23-year-old dude whose whole career's on the line and think he's going to ride or die for you. That's not how psyche works.
My thing has always been he didn't have instinct. He didn't have basketball IQ.
He doesn't. So that doesn't mean you play Anthony Lamb 30 minutes a game for a whole season.
I agree. So when you're playing those struggle bus G leaguers, I mean,
That's
it's
the
like
problem.
it's not a make-a-wish league, dude. You got to play the guys with talent. If all was fair in the world, sure, you give the guys who've been struggling their whole life. Kuminga got a deal right out the gate because he had so much athleticism. But Steve Kerr's looking at it as like Greenpeace or something. And you got to
– He didn't play the next year, was out of the league. He played every minute of every game that season. It was insane.
Yeah.
All you saw was Anthony Lamb.
No, I agree with you on that. I fully agree.
I don't think we disagree on much of anything, really. Like I
agree. You just throw it in the face of these like sensitive, diehard Kerr guys more than you do with me. I mean, or I don't care about it as much as they do.
Well, I also think it's just silly to not acknowledge that he could be successful elsewhere. Like, I think two things can be true.
Obviously, I think it was so refreshing for him to get a brand new start. Of course, I predicted his stat line almost exactly because that's the kind of guy he is. I mean, the dude's shooting like 65% on the Hawks in his first 3 games. It's
ridiculous.
Yeah, also, I mean, yeah, look, one of the things I think, Artie, you sent a text, like, if you just watch a Warriors game, especially that game last night, which we'll get into in a second, if you just watch a Warriors game, what is like the epitome of what they need? A guy like Kuminga. Kuminga would be amazing on the Warriors. Spoiler alert, he was on the Warriors. So, I mean, that's the biggest frustration is like, it's not like the team was so loaded and they wanted him to play an Iguodala role, right? When Iguodala was getting long in the tooth, right? And they needed him to like be this bench guy. And he was struggling with that because he wanted to be a star. He's on a team where Steph is hurt, Porzingis is hurt, Clay is gone, Draymond's old. They need a guy to be exactly like what he's being in Atlanta. And somehow they didn't make it work. So anyways, let's just move on to the Dubs in general. This is usually where I get the temperature check on how you guys are feeling. I know last night did not sit particularly well with me. You would think I had a bet on the game based on how mad I was. They got outscored 72-45 last night. Sorry, did you want to finish with something else?
No, I just wanted to get specific. Dubs Clippers, yeah. Let's talk.
Yeah. Dubs Clippers, they get outscored 72-45 in the second half. That game looked like it was in hand, and then it just got out of hand the wrong way. I mean, it's very rare you watch an NBA game where, I mean, I know it's always a game of runs and stuff like that, and it's a make or miss league, but it's very rare that you see a team up that much and then lose by that much. Again, Jake made a joke. They're trotting out the Make-A-Wish squad out there. They're all, there's no Steph. Kerr talked about how much Draymond's struggling with no Steph. There's no Jimmy. And then
poor Draymond can't handle the league after 13 years with no Steph.
Well, the elephant in the room in the last conversation. The elephant in the room in the last conversation is Kuminga couldn't play with Draymond because he should have been playing for Draymond. That's the elephant in the room.
If it's a precursor that you have to be able to mesh with Draymond as a 22-year-old with that dude, give me a break. That's horrible reasoning for the Warriors organization.
It means you can't play on the Warriors unless you're a 42% shooter and kicker. We don't have one of them. None of these guys can shoot the way you need to play next to Draymond.
Well, yeah, and let's talk Draymond against – I mean, every time I've seen Draymond in the last 3 games, all he does is break threes, and no one wants Draymond taking threes. Anyway, Zach, finish the build-up.
Oh, no. I mean, that was it. I just wanted your thought. I mean, the game to me was just sickening. That second half was completely putrid and pathetic. And Artie's given me a couple of theories on Draymond. He said that Kuminga should be playing for Draymond, not with Draymond. You could tell me about your hypothesis about the difference between how the Warriors handled David Lee with Draymond Green versus how they handled Kuminga with Draymond Green. And then also just where did Draymond go in terms of being a facilitator? I know Artie hit me with some stats about Draymond at Michigan State. That kind of surprised me. And he's got another theory about why his offense went down the bleep hole. So I was just kind of serve it up to Art so he can give all the Draymond theories.
Let's go, Art.
I mean, the Draymond theories are simple. They're just facts. I don't know that they're theories. They're facts of life. Draymond Green's offense went in the shitter because we got Kevin Durant, right? There's no questions about it. He was a defensive-minded first player, but the guy had some ball, right? He could ball. He came out of Michigan State. He was a baller. His last year, he's averaging like 16 and a half points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, something like that. He's dominating the NCAA tournament. He's dynamic. He's hitting step backs. He's hitting pull-ups. He's doing everything you want, right? He's coming to the Warrior. He comes to the tough guy. He starts punking LeBron day one. His offense is getting better. The Warriors are fucking gelling. And then, of course, he's smart. He's a high IQ player. Once Kevin Durant comes, he learns, okay, my role is to do none of this, right? I can't really have the ball in my hand. It shouldn't be in my hand. I'm going to set screens. I'm going to play. So that set him back in that way. And then my other take is mostly, I feel like stolen from Twitter, so I just got to name that. I don't know if it was from a big name or a random account. But when I saw it, I just couldn't have felt it more. It was like everybody's talking about how to build these lineups around. And I mean, it originates from a take I've probably had for a while, which is what a silly thing it is to think the Warriors just have to have Draymond. And that's no shot at Draymond. It's just weird to me that it was like, and Steph's part of it, right? Like Steph has attached himself to Draymond. Kerr has attached himself to Draymond. And it frustrates me that they could never have the vision to see that there's other ways you could win, and it doesn't have to be with Draymond. But the interesting parallel is that David Lee was an all-star when Draymond Green took his job. And Draymond Green took his job because the coach saw something and saw we need a change. And I think that Draymond Green has so much pull. Draymond Green has kind of put the fear of all Warriors brass in them. Like, he sort of is authority in Golden State in a lot of ways, which seems wrong, that I think they're not even considering what was right in front of them. And what's right in front of them was Kuminga should be getting some of these minutes. Maybe not replacing him, but he should be playing for him, not with him.
You just made me think of something. So Steve Kerr was a rookie head coach when he put Draymond Green in for David Lee. David Lee was a stud. He was my favorite player on the Warriors. All-star, first all-star since Latrell Sprewell, by the way. Baron Davis wasn't an all-star. Al Harrington wasn't an all-star. Stephen Jackson wasn't an all-star.
That's insane.
I know, but still.
Did he?
Yeah. So I'm thinking, and then David Lee's career fell apart after he showed up for the Grizzlies series for the Warriors and balled out finally when he got put in game 4 or whatever the hell that was. Yeah. After he was riding pine as a peak all-star. He was in his prime. And then his career just petered off. So Steve Kerr riding the hot hand there like Jim Harbaugh did with Kaepernick and Alex Smith, that seems to have damaged David Lee, who is one of my favorite basketball players of all time. I have his Knicks jersey too. Dude's a stud. So that just makes me kind of think, okay, maybe Steve Kerr does kind of F with dudes' mindsets, because David Lee was cool with it, but what was David Lee after that? Nothing, really. His career died. So that's something to think about.
And Draymond Green's career, you go, Z.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's funny because Draymond Green's career is basically dying because he is getting the same role. He needs to be saved from himself.
He's not getting David Lead by anybody. You know what I mean?
David Lee.
David
Lead. He needs it.
He needs to get David Lead.
And you know what? He'd probably respond differently. If he got David Lead,
he wouldn't be the good veteran on the bench saying, let's go. I will wait 3 games to get put in.
Yeah, he'd either be really, really disruptive and really just blow it all up, or he'd play 18 of the most vicious, intense minutes ever. So many technical flagrants. It'd be good.
I think he'd take it. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, he'd be destructive one way or the other. He would not take it well. And I will say this. It was easier for Kerr to do that, right? Because he probably saw Draymond more as his guy. And Draymond's coming from Michigan State under Tom Izzo, a winning culture or whatever. And he knew that he brought the exact stuff. David Lee was more of a scorer, right? More of a star than Draymond. So it was easier for him to be like, I got the Splash Brothers. Let's put Draymond Green, who's beasting on defense and is facilitating. Let's put him with these 2 guys and make magic work, as opposed to having David Lee, where maybe David Lee needed to be more of like the focal point. But I will say this. It was also probably harder for Kerr because they won 4, They won one. They won the two with Durant. Then they won the fourth one. So it's easy
Well, they got rid of
for
Clay.
Kerr. Huh?
Wasn't so hard to get rid of Clay.
That's true, but I mean that.
And
that really was.
As a Dubs fan, I put Clay above Draymond for me, like in favorites.
Of course. Well, you can make the argument on who's more important or whatever, but I will say this: a lot of that was time. Draymond Green's contract was up before Clay's, and then Clay had back-to-back injuries. Don't forget, he got injured when he tore his knee in the playoffs and then shot the free throw, then he was out. And then when he was rehabbing for that, he popped his Achilles. And then it was the last year of his contract. So Clay got screwed with timing. Whereas
he won a championship after that. Let's not forget. I mean, he played a full season.
Mm-hmm.
He rehabbed. He came back. He balled out. He won a championship.
And he had a Game 6 Clay game. He had a Game 6 Clay game after that.
And then he played that whole other season where he was very unhappy. Right? Like, that was a bad season. His game was lost.
And he went
struggling. And
0 for 10 against the Kings in the playoffs. So
yeah, it was time to go.
Yeah.
It was a sad end, but it's
I know. I'm just saying for
who's the homie? Say what's up to the homie, Zach.
What's popping, homie?
Someone.
Anyways,
that was like the Brian Wilson video.
Yeah, is the machine there?
That's what I was shooting for. Anyways, the point is.
Oh, you got one more? Because before we move off the Warriors, let me say one thing. But you go if you got Warriors.
No, go ahead.
Oh, the last thing I want to say about the Warriors, because we're talking Draymond, is I will never forget one of my favorite Warriors moments ever. And I want to say it was his first start, or maybe he was just starting to get his swag. I'm guessing, Jake, you'll remember. But I'll never forget when the Heat are the best team in the league, and we beat the Heat that year, and it's the year he takes over David Lee's job, and fucking Draymond Green just goes right up to him. Right when he gets in the game, his chin's on his chin. He bumps his ass hella hard. And this is just rookie Draymond, got no reputation. And I'm immediately in love. My first Instagram post ever is Everybody Loves Draymond. They had this picture of Everybody Loves Raymond, and they put the family around him, and then they put Draymond Green as Raymond from Everybody Loves Raymond. That's like my first tweet ever from like ever many. What a moment. That's ingrained in my head forever, and one of my favorite Warriors moments ever. And I love LeBron. And he just goes right up to him and just gives it to him. And
Party.
Setting the tone forever.
So that first playoff series Draymond was in against the Nuggets, right? I made a post on Instagram. It was early in Instagram. I was like, thank you so much to Draymond Green and his Golden State Warriors. Matt Strauss hit me with a comment. You mean Stephen Curry and his Golden State Warriors? I was like, no, Draymond's Golden State Warriors. I was in love with that guy more than anybody. I mean, we both, all Warriors fans knew like what he brought to the team at that time. No disrespect on Draymond. The guy has been a legend.
Yeah. So if that's what it's coming across as, we fucking love Draymond. Draymond has been a legend. Draymond is just on struggle mode, and he doesn't like people that are better at it in a hoop, so he knocks them out, and he makes sure they leave the team. So he has a little bit of issues. But we
that early Draymond was a lot more likable than later Draymond.
I would say he's probably one of the most polarizing athletes for any particular fan base, because I think the majority of it is love. Again, me more objectively from the outside looking in, I look at it like he was the perfect thing for you guys, because I certainly don't think Clay is soft, and I'm not really calling Steph soft. Let's just say they're softer. They needed toughness, rebounding, passing. He was the perfect fit for the Splash Brothers. So there's that amount of love knowing we couldn't have done this without him. But then you can point to a bunch of stuff, whether it's Poole or Kuminga or specifically for me, and I feel like Warriors fans don't talk about this enough, but him kicking LeBron in the nuts, then he watches Game 6 in an A's suite back when the A's were still in Oakland, and then he had a great Game 7, by the way. Check his Game 7 game log. It was incredible. The box score on Draymond, he was hitting threes, jumpers. He was doing all his offense.
Right? Pre-KD.
No. Oh, yeah. Right before. Yeah.
Exactly. Guy was still a baller.
Anyways, so, but like that is that game where he kicks LeBron in the nuts and gets suspended, to me is like the ultimate sign, the ultimate symbol of why he is such a conundrum for Warriors fans, because it's that what you need, but then he goes too far and that's not what you need. And so anyways,
but would we have KD without that nut kick?
God, that's the worst thing that ever happened in the Warriors. I mean,
That's
if we
true.
could only relive a Warriors.
That opinion that's the worst thing that's ever happened to the Warriors is complete nonsense.
No, because we could have watched actually 3 more years of competitive basketball. Instead, we watched 3 boring years where
Art didn't like you guys winning by so much.
Team in the league.
Art wanted heartbreak and close games, Jake. I'll never understand it.
There's no team that could.
The guy said it was too easy with KD.
Art, it seems. Can I ask you a question? It seems like. Listen, it seems like you're self-aware. You understand reality. Except, do you understand that you are a fan of a team that in baseball that won 10, 12, and 14? You're a fan of a hoop team that won 4 titles. You're a fan of the Chiefs that just won 3 titles. People like Zach have not won a title. They've won one his entire life. So have a little respect for what the Warriors were able to do and win by signing.
Jake, let's not go down this rabbit hole. And in Artie's defense, and to me, there's no defense. To me, there's no defense. If my team is winning by too much because I have Kevin Durant and it's a cheat code because I have the Splash Brothers along with Draymond and Kevin Durant, I went to the parades. I'm having a blasty blast. I'm not complaining at all. But in Artie's defense, people that are not Warriors fans, I have heard them say the same thing where there was no point to watch basketball because when they had KD, you knew they were winning. And he was only there for 3 years. They would have won the 3rd one when Toronto won it, if not Clay and KD got hurt. But anyway.
I mean, they almost won after Clay went out. And, Steph was putting up a good game.
One thing, it's really just the ultimate competitor in me, and it's less about – I enjoyed watching Durant, Warriors at times. At times I would root sort of jokingly against them because I'm like, let's have this shitty team beat the best team. But this is what it was. You know me, if we're playing, pick up hoop, I'm one of the more competitive people. I like to win.
You like to foul.
And if somebody beats me in something, my goal is not to go get the best player at the park and then go rematch. So it was really all embedded in the fact that I thought that Warriors team was better than that Cavs team, and I wanted to run it back. We were 1-1, and I wanted to see another season where it's the same. And you took away that, and you took that opportunity away from the fans is all it was for me.
I think
that's going to feel satisfied in that rematch when you get Durant because that's cheating.
That's reasonable. But this is why you and I are different, and you and Jake are different. Because me and Jake are pretty aligned in terms of our fandom. What you said is totally reasonable. If you're a bleeping New Jersey or Brooklyn Nets fan, if you're a Warriors fan, you don't give a bleep if you get Kevin Durant. You take the trophy home and you celebrate the hell out of it. Anyways, let's move on. One more Warriors note before we turn the page. Steph Curry's going to get, he was reevaluated in 10 days. Now he's going to get reevaluated to be reevaluated again in another 10 days. Lord knows, but nothing's changed with Porzingis. When Jake was out here accusing him of being a crackhead, we still haven't seen that guy on the court. What the hell's going on with your actual team? Do you even care at this point? Because I'll tell you this, next year with the Dolphins, we're going to cut Tua or trade him or whatever. We cut Chubb. We cut Tyreek Hill. We fired the GM. We fired the coach. Everything is in shambles in Miami. But I'm actually looking forward to the season in a sick, weird way, and maybe this will be some more psyche in terms of fandom art. I'm looking forward to next year because, number one, I'm not going to be living like a psycho on every play like I did with every other Dolphins season since they got Tua and they had Mike McDaniel and they had Tyreek Hill and they had Bradley Chubb and we still have my boy Waddle and we still have Achane. I was living and dying with every game. Now, damn near rooting against them. Not really, whatever. But here's what I'll be able to do. Just watch the game. See if I can find some players that I like. Look for youth. Look for some optimism. All of my stress of the football season is gone outside of fantasy. And so I'm just wondering, and this is where I do my temperature check, because a lot of our listeners are Dubs fans. Are you guys at that point where you really don't just care? You get into the play-in, you don't get into the play-in, whatever. If you make a little run, you want to see Steph back healthy, you want to shut him down. Where are the Dubs fans at?
Can I start here? So
yeah, go ahead.
First of all, you brought something to mind. When Tua got one of those real serious concussions, I was with you at a theater at AMC Emeryville.
God. Yeah.
And I was laughing like the Joker. But here nor there. So Porzingis, if he was a crackhead, he would be available. He'd be playing. I think he's on heroin. Okay, I think he's doing the mud. I think he's on the bad stuff. He's very slow. He's not responding. He's not up and in your face. It's the opposite. So don't disparage crack like that.
Hey, Artie, I know you're home alone with the kids. In case you missed it, we have a drug update. Porzingis is no longer on crack. Jake says if he was on crack, he'd be available. The new theory is Porzingis is on heroin. That's why. That's why.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
And my guess is he's probably smoking it. He's not shooting it.
Oh, he has a black tar in some way or another. I don't know how he's getting it. But he's not. He's not doing the Lamar Odom. That's for sure. And I just want to right now. I want to say thank you, Warriors and Clippers, for playing a classic rivalry game in your epic brown versus orange uniforms. That's what I wanted to get to. God, I love those Warriors browns and those Clippers oranges.
Jake, we can go on a jersey rant because you and I are both jersey guys. Art's a semi-jersey guy. I'd put you at like a 10, me at like a 7.5, Art at about a 6.5. But we all love jerseys. A lot of people say, I won't put another man's name on my back. Get over yourself, okay? But we can go on a jersey rant because I am tired of turning on a game and without looking at the bottom line of who's playing, not knowing who's playing. When I used to watch the Bulls and the Suns play a game in 1994, damn it, the purple and the orange told me Suns, the red and the black and the white told me the Bulls. Now I watch a game, I have no clue who's playing. It could be a game in China and I wouldn't know. Sorry.
You had the Clippers in bright orange playing the Warriors in white and brown. Anyone who's not totally tuned in to the updates of their uniforms, they would be like, who the hell are these teams? Like our dads. Do you think they would ever understand if the Clippers and Warriors were playing in those colors in the 80s or 90s? No, there's no chance. I saw the Blazers playing in black and aqua. Like, what the hell are you doing?
I know. Terrible.
There's no branding left. It takes away the identity of the team. I think it takes away from the actual watchability for people over 18 years old. I'm just not a fan of that whole thing. And we talked about it a little early in the week. Just wanted to get that in.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that.
Yeah.
Art, State of the Warriors, are you looking forward to a play-in game? Are you hoping to make the playoffs? Do you want to shut Steph down? Where's your Warriors temperature, Art?
Art just said Pod's had a hell of a second half. That was his thing.
I would say that my temperature check on the Warriors is you definitely don't play Steph Curry again until there's a few games left, maybe 5 at most, 10. If he decides he's going to play, if he's any close to anything in his knee, you shut him down for the playoffs. You just don't play him. And you get to next year. So, but I would play him if he's fine, but you don't play him in the next 20 days. You wait. What I did have was a sick thought today, which really, to your point, and kind of goes to our KD conversation, really had me thinking I'm a sick mother effer. Because I am, Avery's on the text line, and he just highlighted, I think, what, Jake, you and I have said, just sort of the fourth one was the extra one. Let's watch Steph ride it out and accept what we can. The dynasty's over and appreciate it, right? And appreciate some Steph.
Need him to be playing to do that, though.
Yeah, but we'll say it again.
I need Steph to be playing to appreciate him writing it up.
This is the sick fucking me. I actually realized I thought I was going to be so sad when the Steph Curry era ended. And I actually realized I'm that much of a sick mother effer that I kind of like watching fools that suck. Like, it is how you were joking about it, Jake, watching these guys try to grind. And the next thing you know, you got Guy Santos going for 16, 4 and 4. You got D'Anthony. It just, I don't know if it's because what I watched when I was 8 and it makes me feel young and we like to feel young.
Yeah, you sound like
that. I had this sick thought the other day. I was like, maybe it won't be so bad. Like, maybe it'll be fun to watch us be terrible for 10 years. And
you have Stockholm.
I believe the G League is our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
I'm telling you, man, we're going to be watching freaking, who's going to be like our next Larry Hughes? We're going to get like fucking Jalen Green in like 6 years.
But but Artie, that's my point is like, at least we had good talent with no winning culture. That was fun to watch. Watching G League dudes grind it out, playing their hardest and losing is not fun to watch.
Well, hey, you watch Guy Santos get himself paid. My boy Guy.
3 for 15. 3 for 15.
Yeah, you guys are. You know what you're a product of. You're a product of two things. It sounds like Art's got like Stockholm syndrome, where like you like your abuser. So like when he was growing up with Mookie Blaylock and Dana Barros and stuff like that, like so now like he loved that struggle. So now that struggle's back and the success, he had a hard time dealing with that. You ever heard of people being like afraid of success? So like he was weirded out by the KD thing, too easy, doesn't like it. And then the other thing that you guys are a product of is just having 4 championships. It's so easy for you guys to talk like that. I kind of like the struggle. Oh, it's fun not winning the championship. Yeah. You know who doesn't say that? You know who doesn't say that? Suns fans.
Yeah.
Wrong. For me, it's not. For me, it's being thankful I have them. And so I'm more like content that we won and now I can just watch fools play ball. And I don't like people who are new Warriors fans are calling into radio stations saying, I can't believe they're not winning. I can't believe they're not number 1 in the West. Like, go F off, dude. You weren't a real Warriors fan. Seeing those 4 titles were amazing. Like, that's how can you top that?
Yeah.
There's definitely
If Steph's playing, he is not playing.
Yeah. There's definitely a generation of Warriors fans that have no idea what the struggle was and like only expect championships, which is just entitled and ridiculous. But anyways, we spent a long minute on this. I actually had another dub. Go ahead, Art.
I was going to say, you know who they also don't know about? Your beautiful, beautiful Phoenix.
Don Yelmer.
Quite get it done for you because that is one of my all-time favorite teams. You know, no joke. I got favorite team. You know, I love my Bobby Jackson, Mike Bibby, Chris Webber, Sacramento Kings. I love
who?
I'm saying another team that these new Warriors fans that don't understand the struggle don't know about is one of your favorite Suns teams. They don't even know about the Nash, Amare, Mary.
Barkley or Nash?
I'm talking Nash, Amare, all that.
Oh,
man.
I know.
These new Warriors fans don't even go that far back.
Well, did you see? Do we have Dominique on the show sheet talking about how refs fixed it for Shaq to win the scoring title? Did you guys see that clip?
No.
Dominique said basically Popovich, he was a young coach. He said, you guys got to sit. I'm sorry. Stern said Shaq needs to win the scoring title and David Robinson can't because he's the new face of the NBA. Dominique just said that on an interview.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, anyways. All right.
I actually have the Suns and the Kings.
They should do that for Ant Edwards.
Yeah.
I actually have another Dubs topic that I want to get to, but I'm going to save it because we're going to be in the dog days of summer soon, and it's not time sensitive, and we just spent about 45 minutes on the Dubs. So let's transfer over to our segment. Art said it was mandatory. We are Heat Check after all, so we have a Heat Check every show. This is where we go with the old schoolers and whether or not you're icy, a.k.a. cold, on it. Whether or not you go mid, you're blah on it. That's for the millennials. And then if you're really old school, on fire. So if you're really big on it, then you're on fire. So it's icy, mid, or on fire. We start with this because I was pretty surprised by the how do I phrase this? I was pretty surprised by the size of the spectrum on this question, which is a very simple, I dumbed down the question, but the amount of feedback that I got from different sources, I was surprised at how much it varied. Are you icy, mid, or on fire about the combine?
Combine. I didn't know where we were going. The combine.
Size of the spectrum.
I don't even know what that lead.
You're talking about.
Hang on. Okay. Hang
on. Or autism.
Hang on. If that wasn't clear, let me clarify. The amount of people that I saw that watched the bleep out of it were the same amount of people that I saw that said I watched some of it but didn't like totally care. Were the same amount of people that I saw that said I didn't watch 1 second of it. So I'll just tell you what I am. I'm icy on it. I didn't watch 1 second. I did see some highlights, so I guess maybe I could be in the mid conversation where there's one defensive end from Miami whose arm length or hand length was shorter than they thought, so he's going to fall out of the top 10. I know the Alabama quarterback got a lot of love, so he might get drafted in the first round. There was other stuff about running the 4-2 or whatever. I mean, whatever. What I'm saying is there wasn't a common answer to it. My answer is that I'm not as much icy as I think Art just said. I didn't even know it was going on. I knew it was going on, and I read some reports on it. But by no means was I making that appointment TV. That's all.
Did anyone knock on my door? Did anyone deliver the news?
I forgot. That's the standard. Art,
Anyone jump out at Artie?
Yeah, nobody told me there was a goddamn combine.
Letting them know.
Oh, so there was a combine.
Come and knock on my door.
Knock
on my door. I'll be waiting
We'll
for
be
you.
waiting for you.
Anyway, Art, Art, did you literally not know that it began and ended?
I think I saw one highlight and I thought it was from like 2-3 years ago. I didn't know what was happening. I saw one guy running a 40, but I didn't know it was a combine right now. Like some clip showed up and it was a 40, and I thought it was just some random clip because you see those all the time with players, And
yeah,
no, I didn't know what was happening. Not at all. Good on him.
So needless to say, you're icy. You're icy.
Yeah, if you're not icy on this, you need to figure out what's going on in your life and do something better.
Hey, some people really look hand size for quarterbacks. Sometimes this stuff matters. Arm length, you know what I'm saying? Vertical jump.
Jake's hot. He's on fire. No, I'm joking.
I get real Django Unchained vibes on the combine, so I'm cool. I'm ice cold. But I don't want to insult people who like it. Larry Kruger's in talks to be on our show.
I'm joking.
Larry Kruger loves it. NFL scouts love it. I, for one, as an NFL fan or a football fan, I got other like now that the Sharks are balling, I can watch the Anaheim Ducks win bets like when they're down 0-2. If you're a gambler, you don't give two shits about the combine. Give me a break.
You can gamble on the combine too. I saw that.
No thanks. I'm good on that.
Okay.
Unbelievable. Yeah. No.
All right. Let's move on. Sounds like in between icy and mid. Super hardcore icy, frostbit over there, and then I think I got like pretty icy, damn near frostbit over there. All right, let's move on to the second one. We talked about this a little bit last week. We're bringing it up again. Jake, do you have that audio from the
Are we talking baseball?
No,
we're talking Tyler Scooball.
Right. Well, I was going to bring up the World Baseball Classic. I'm only bringing it up again because now it's kind of started. The Giants played Team USA today. All of the guys were on the Pat McAfee show. They were down there at the Giants facility in Arizona. There was some good sound bits from both Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper, who were possibly potential Giants.
Chipper said those weren't involved. I got one audio bite from baseball, and it's Mr. Harper.
Yeah, that's fine. Harper was on with Pat McAfee. Go ahead, play it.
Let's go.
Probably you're thinking, man, he could have been here with the Giants, but he's not.
Was that a thought?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so Phillies or Giants?
Yeah.
Anybody else in play?
It was like San Diego and a couple other teams, but it came down to Phillies Giants.
Giants are like a very respected organization.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, Judge too,
no
right?
doubt.
Yeah, Judge was
Arson Judge.
Yeah. Damn near had a heart attack.
Yeah, Arson Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was close. The thing that killed me was Bochy was retiring.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, he was the greatest of all time.
Bochy's the massive head.
Yeah, but
the big.
There you go. God!
I wanted to make this.
Come on, the guy's talking 3 years later. It means nothing. It's whatever. We don't know how much.
You're gonna poop. You're gonna.
Why would he bring that up? He has no reason to bring it up, unless he wants to get traded to the Giants or something, which I'd love.
No, come on. And he's mad at Philly now. He's pissed at the owner who was talking shit about him, telling him he's no good.
The GM, yes.
Can you imagine Devers and Bryce back to back? Oh my God!
I love Bryce.
No, but think about what he said. He said Bryce and Judge. Remember, the Giants were the runner-up to Aaron Judge too. Now, I think he always wanted to go back to New York, but still, if Bryce was there, it probably would have made him more likely to sign with the Giants. I don't know. I saw that, and I just said, and I don't know if it was you, Jake, that texted it or somebody else, but thanks, Farhan. You moved
That's
Bochy
what I
out.
said, yes.
Bochy didn't retire, okay? He was forced out. I'm not doing that based on any sources. I'm not reporting anything. I'm doing that based on my gut and how I read the situation. His ass got forced out because he retired for a year or two, and then he was right back with the Rangers and won a mother bleeping World Series. And he
Number
said,
4.
And Bryce said the main reason why I didn't sign with the Giants is because Bochy was gone. So good job, Farhan. Excellent work, buddy.
Us in the know, we all heard stories about Farhan just shitting the bed in these conversations, and Gabe Kapler too. Gabe Kapler was voted the last coach any modern MLB player wanted to play for while he wasn't managing. He wasn't a manager.
Wow.
He was in the front office of the Marlins. He was the number one not wanted manager.
I never
That's
heard
the
that.
problem with the Warriors now. Nobody's going to want to go play for Dunleavy. I wouldn't. I'm worried about that.
Farhan and Dunleavy are not the same. Dunleavy comes from Mike Dunleavy Sr.
Now.
Huh?
I'm just worried we look dysfunctional now.
Okay, but hold on. Take a moment to focus on your boy Farhan, who you love. You love analytics. You love OBP plus. You love WAR plus. You love BBSA plus.
You're just literally just making shit up on the pod about what I love.
Yeah, I've never heard Art to be.
Never.
I got to get Art's back on this.
You love Farhan because
an analytic guy.
All right, did you like Farhan, Artie?
Of course not. Did I like Farhan? I stopped watching the Giants because of Farhan. I didn't know who was on the team because of Farhan. I was one of
I think you got your people mixed up.
Literally couldn't keep up.
All right, Dave G like Farhan. What do you guys like them at first?
No, I was trying to be like a casual still fan. Like, dude, can I just watch 50 games and know who I'm watching? You couldn't. You have to watch like 122 games to know the roster. If you watch, like,
not even. He'd bring two
games
teams for 3 days and then they're gone. They'd start for a series and gone.
It was the worst tenure you could imagine.
Worst brand of baseball I've ever seen. Dudes grinded their ass off all spring training, and then all of a sudden he brings in 2 dudes that he got on buyouts, and they're starting for the opening series and opening day. It was an obliteration of baseball as we knew it, and that's what my favorite team became, and I'm very passionate about it because I fucking hate Farhan.
Well, you can't turn people into numbers, right? And you can't just expect them to perform their numbers if you're jackassing them around, putting them in Sacramento, bringing them back, putting them in Sacramento, bringing them back.
He messed with mentals more than anyone. Count your chickens, count your mentals. He fucked everyone's mentals.
Yeah, no, he's awful. He's awful.
He was awful.
It's horrible. And now we're writing the ship, right? We're writing the ship. We got a real team.
I like it. Everyone trusts Posey. Devers is legit. I mean, Adames is legit. Chapman is legit. We have like real life baseball players again, which is amazing. And so hopefully someone like Harper's like putting that into the conversation and say, hey, trade me there. We could be a dope ass team.
Leica better watch his back if he gets that bid.
I will say this. I will say this.
Yeah.
Bitch shit.
I hope he
want to go off on that, Art. Go ahead, Art.
I'm just saying, man, how you gonna try to buy the Padres and try to be a Warriors?
Art said he's out as a Dubs fan.
Sarky told me that. I'm not buying any of that shit. That sounds horrible.
What's horrible?
What if Leica brings the Padres to Oakland? Would you? I mean,
great, and I'll be happy.
All right.
And then he cannot be hated. But if he goes and puts his money on the Padres, I gotta go watch him sign free agents in the Padres when he can't bring no.
That was my favorite part.
I'm gonna say bring that damn money to the Warriors.
Leica brought us so much as a Warriors fan. Chill out.
Okay, Artie. First of all, I love your loyalty and that you would hate if Joe Lacob bought the Padres because they're in the Giants division. I respect that. Totally understand it. Where you're totally off base is that he's not going to be making decisions. Each organization is separate. He's not going to be making a decision on spending more money on the Padres, and then that takes away from the Warriors. There's a salary cap. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into it. Anyway, baseball is pretty much a joke. As I told you, the Dodgers are just going to win 3 in a row, and then we're going to have a strike. So baseball's kind of a joke. Enjoy it while you can. I will say this and some positivity, and then I'm going to toss it back to Art because Art had texted the thread that there was some Giant stuff that he wanted to get into, whether it was the manager or some players. I don't know. I was trying to look it up. I'm doing too many things at once. I got a 4-month-old puppy right next to me. But I will say this. If I'm a Giants fan, first of all, as an A's fan, and we've been tabling this for some weeks, and we'll get into it when there's more dog days of summer and there's less topics to talk about. I think there's a lot of intrigue for both the formerly Oakland Athletics and the formerly Oakland Las Vegas Raiders. But we'll talk about that another time. I will say this about the Giants before I toss to Art on whatever he wanted to get to. This will be the first year where the moves have been made. Posey has put the personnel in that he wants, and he has the manager running things That was his choice. So this is Posey's, and I read an article in the Chronicle. By the way, shout out to the newspaper, all you kids or any of you young people out there, or even if you're my age or older, subscribe to your newspapers. Newspapers are great. I love the crossword puzzle. I love the Sudoku. I love the sports section. I try to ignore, the front page and the business section and stuff like that. Anyways, I read an article saying that Posey basically told people, I'm going all in my vision and what I want to do, like in a small period of time. Well, you didn't like my newspaper rant?
I ignore the front page in business. What?
Yeah. Comics and sports is all I need. Sudoku puzzle, crossword puzzle, sports, and comics. That's all I need. Anyways, The point was, Posey was saying, my point is, Posey said, I'm not going to be doing this for decades. Like, I'm trying to go all in and do the best that I can right now. And this is a fresh start with the players that he traded for, the players that he brought in, and the manager that he brought in. So if I'm a Giants fan, I'm excited to see what it is with Posey actually having his footprint on it. But anyways, Art, you texted the thread. What'd you say? You said
I just wanted to talk a little bit about interview I heard with our boy Webb, where he talked a little bit about sort of something that I think I had a problem with Melvin on last year, and he kind of spoke to it, which was just like there wasn't energy on the Giants last year, and they got in a lull, and it stuck, and the lull stuck in through the summer, and he said that in response to, we hear about Vitello's got that energy, and we hear you've been feeling it. How's it been? And he talked about really liking it. He said, yeah, it is a little different. It is pretty high energy. And he said, but I think it's sort of exactly what this group needed.
Yes.
And then he said, to be honest, last year it got a little stale. He said there were times last year where we needed a push and we were just sort of in a rut, and it just stayed that way.
And we know how much you hated Melvin.
I didn't hate. I did, but I didn't hate Melvin. But he was so obvious. You
told me
yeah,
you couldn't imagine somebody that you would choose before him to motivate you to do anything. You said he was the least inspiring human being. Okay.
He was also Ian Keel's most hated person in the world at one point.
Not hated at all.
Just me and Drago.
Not hated at all. Thank you for changing the words, because that's really what it was. The least inspiring person I've ever heard speak. The least. There's lots of millions of people. I've heard tens of thousands. Imagine that man trying to motivate you to do something that's near impossible. So yeah, I think Webb felt that too. And
I already subtly, like a lot of those Giants players are saying, we're really happy with the positive energy we're getting instead of like a flatline clubhouse.
Yeah.
Because whatever was going on with Melvin, it seems like he might be going through old age. Like he's a little senile. I mean, these guys were not feeling him, and that
fine, man. He's fine. He's a 2-time manager of the year. He did
when? How long ago, bro?
Baseball is 162 games long. You need an even
How long ago
guy.
was he a good manager?
If the Giants had a manager like me that was gung-ho all the time, I would wear off on them so quick. You need an even-keeled guy. That's Bob Melvin's secret sauce.
Wasn't much of a secret that he sucked in San Diego and he sucked on the Giants.
I'll tell you this. After Artie told me that, because when I was at 95.7 and I was doing pre and post game for the A's, I spent time with Melvin in the dugout, and I would do, he'd give me interviews. He was really good to me. And I always respected him because the A's did overachieve when he managed. I think he's a good manager. He's been around baseball his whole life. He was a former Giant, a former Padre, whatever. But after Artie said that he was the least inspiring person ever, I'm not going to lie and say that every time I heard a sound clip played on the radio or TV or whatever, I was just like, damn.
Dude, I respected.
That's not inspiring at all.
I respected Gabe Kapler because I respected him at the after hours parties in the city because he was very buff. He was very into partying. And it doesn't mean that it makes a great manager.
Reviews. No, but hang on. Kapler was bad on the other side. Like, you need to combine Kapler and Melvin and divide by 2.
But I respected his physique. I respected his, the way he loved to get down late night.
Who gives a bleep about a manager's physique? You think Bruce Bochy was in tip-top shape? The guy won you 3 and 1 in Texas.
It's called sarcasm, buddy.
Sorry. I did not pick up on that.
Bob
I thought you were
Melvin.
being for real.
Bob Melvin would get up in a presser. Giants had just lost like 7-2, 3 errors, 2 base running errors, right? And he starts getting asked about like, so what's going on?
Better pass.
Yeah. He'd say, you know what I'll tell you, guys, I know it's so hard to watch. I'm sure I get the frustration out there. If I'm watching, I'd be frustrated too, but let me tell you, Elliot Ramos cares so much.
And he's coming back out there tomorrow, hitting it off.
I'll tell you, it's not because he doesn't try. It's not because he doesn't want to be the best baseball player he can be. Instead, he needs to go light his ass up and tell him a little something. And I'm not the light his ass up kind of guy, but you need to go light this guy up and tell him, what in the hell are you doing? And then go tell the media, this ain't going to cut it. Elliot Ramos ain't going to be playing, starting in left field if he keeps doing this. I love, though, when he did have his back on that one when it was like the other dude's fault. That was like my favorite Bob Melvin moment ever. Apparently, like, you remember that throw that he made that was so bad and it was like someone else's fault because he like was in the wrong position.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my favorite Melvin.
Well, before that, it was Pat Burrell showed me to the Chap store, and that was a good moment for both of us. And we're just going to keep trying hard and eating steak. So,
maybe Mac can get with Boach and why we love Boach.
If you want a beer, have a beer. Have a beer, Brandon. Have a beer.
All I can tell you boys, I won you 3-5. They shoved me out the damn door, and then what I do, I went down there to Texas where, they understand me a little bit better than that Bay Area. What I do, won myself another damn ring. So put that in your pipe of smoke. Yeah, we love Boach. I miss Boach so much, man.
That far on fella, he had his greased up muscly fella coming in, and I just couldn't get in his way. He seemed like a new ball.
The analytics said that we had to get Bochy out of there. And, Bryce didn't want to come because Bochy was leaving. So we brought in Gabe, and Gabe knows the numbers.
Well, Farhan likes War Plus quite a bit, and I like to go out for burgers.
All right. We're running over, so let's move along.
Really
I just bring this up.
They really care about this product, and we're gonna turn it around this summer. I promise.
Yeah.
Just keep.
I've been a Bay Area fan my whole life, and I love putting Adamas out there. He plays hard, and that's all we can do.
All right, boys. The final. So it sounds like we're all on fire about the World Baseball Classic and the comments that we got. I mean, we basically just made that a giant segment. Anyways, the last one is the World Cup. Icy, mid, on fire. I bring this up because I'm probably going to bring it up once a week, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I heard. Oh man, I meant to write his name down. I'm trying to get my computer situation figured out. Anyways. There was this great guy with a thick English accent talking about soccer, and he said that the statistics bear out. Now, Artie will know this joke because me and Artie are on a text thread with his cousin Hamid and Gabe, and Hamid has been saying that soccer is going to take over in America. And Jake, I know how much you love soccer. You talked about your stories with George and soccer, and I get into soccer when it's the Euro Cup and the World Cup, but I don't pretend like
who's our favorite team, Bill?
Except for
Bill, we have a shared favorite team.
Except for our darling powdered blue Man City squad. Yes. But this English guy with a very thick English accent said on the Dan Patrick Show that soccer has now taken over baseball as the third most popular sport in America. It goes football, basketball, soccer, baseball now. Hockey is now 5, which is crazy to me because they used to say the 4 big sports are hockey, basketball, football, baseball. Anyways, I bring up the World Cup because, number one, Jake, if you have any insight, because I haven't done like a deep dive, I'm not going to pretend to. I probably will when it gets closer to the summer and the games are starting to come up or whatever. But I've heard nothing but good things about this USA squad. And I remember more of the time of me remembering USA squads is like Landon Donovan, that redheaded guy that everybody loved that's a commentator now or whatever. I don't feel like I know anybody on the squad now, but, mid icy on fire about the World Cup.
I'm totally on fire. I love the World Cup. It's one of my favorite events in all of sports. Our boy, Zach, I know you love Cristiano, and I've always told you since you're cursed with winning championships not to openly root for him. But I'm a huge Portugal fan. Since I married my wife, I'm into Spain, but I'm definitely still more hardcore Portugal. I have some Portugal DNA in me, but Spain and Portugal are pretty intertwined. And I followed Cristiano since I visited Long Beach State's campus Or no, his first World Cup, I think, might have been 02 as an 18-year-old. Yeah, I think it was. So yeah, me and my brother were drinking mimosas at like 4 a.m. in Long Beach, watching a 19-year-old Cristiano or 18-year-old Cristiano. It was incredible. So I'm always on fire for the World Cup. I love it. Soccer is an amazing game that I was very late to.
Where do you have it, Jake? I just said that the English guy, which again, I'll shout out next podcast. I'm sure he's not watching or listening or caring that I'm not citing him. But this English guy said that officially in America, the rooting hierarchy,
Pulisic
the
is a
rooting totem
beast.
pole is football, basketball, soccer, baseball, hockey. So what is it for you personally? I'm wondering.
Oh, for me
because
personally,
it's below hockey. It's below
hockey.
Hockey
Has, as you know, has like risen up in my rankings, and so has soccer.
I mean, all we have in this cruel world is our teal.
All we have is our teal. Honestly, dude, the NBA regular season has been shit to me. I'd rather take the World Cup and hockey over the NBA regular season at this point, to be perfectly honest. I love the MLB regular season. I go Giants regular season first for me, NFL second, and then I go NHL regular season, then World Cup.
Wow. Warriors fifth?
Yeah, are you kidding me? Have you watched the Warriors this year? Do you think that's a fun watch?
Oh, so it's success dependent.
It's depending on a lot. The NBA, with their lack of people playing, their lack of
it's ridiculous.
It's like the players have taken it over and then said, "Hey, we don't want to play. We'll play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Play in maybe." Like John Morant's a perfect example because that was my guy. Like 3-4 years ago, it was so fun to watch him as a young athlete. And then he was just like, fuck it. NBA lets me do whatever I want.
You're getting my hot take. You just threw me into my hot take because that's who I want the Warriors to get.
Well, I'd love that if they could
bring him to the Bay.
If they could recondition them to actually care about playing basketball, that'd be great. But the whole culture of the NBA, to me, my young homies love it. NBA culture to me has taken such a step back in the last
pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
How can you get the pennies on the dollar?
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the way it's so blasé, man. I don't like it.
Yeah, and if you play fantasy basketball,
everyone's hurt all the time.
Load management, out with a sprain, illness. It's
all my top stars are on the fucking injured reserve constantly. It's ridiculous, but they're not really injured. It's like, okay, we're gonna miss 3 games with a sneeze. Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think World Cup is more exciting than most regular season sports. I'm a huge Giants fan, so I'll value that forever. NFL, they play their ass off because there's limited games. And right now, the way our Sharks are going, I got to roll with that. NBA, all I know is NBA is dead last.
I'm mid on the World Cup mostly because you want to go recap his
No, I was just gonna say he's on fire. I would say I'm in between mid and on fire. I think when it gets closer to it playing, I'll definitely be on it. I do question whether or not the popularity of soccer is real. I mean, I'm pretty surprised that it took over baseball, especially with the rule changes that baseball made last year. I thought that they gained some momentum, and I haven't seen as much soccer talk from, but I'm 42 years old, so who knows? Maybe it's just, maybe amongst young people it is way more popular, but I know with my nieces and nephews and kids that I don't know. Anyways, my point is, in terms of the actual World Cup, I'm somewhere in between mid to on fire, and when it gets closer, I'll be rooting for the Dutch and the Italians, and I'll be rooting for the Americans. So I'll be closer to on fire the closer it gets to it.
And Zach, during the Euros 2 years ago, I'd come over to your house all the time. We'd watch the Italians.
100%. Yeah, and then we'd lose to Spain. Your people.
Spain. Yeah.
Anyway. Go ahead, Art.
Oh, I'm mid on it basically because I'm mid on all sports. Priced out, man. You bring the World Cup to the Bay, nobody can pay for it. So what's the point of bringing it to the Bay? Man, fuck all these.
Hang on, you're mid on all sports
because you can't even afford to go to a sports game anymore. You think I'm trying to break
we're not talking about
to go watch any of this? So I'm mid on it. We're not in our backyard. I damn near cold on it. I love the World Cup. It's in your backyard. You should be going to a match, right? There's no reason not to go watch a World Cup match except shit. I don't really know that I want to go pay $400 for the worst ticket
at Levi to boot.
Yeah, exactly. And isn't it like the worst ticket is about 400? Like if you get like the worst two teams in the whole World Cup, you'll probably pay a few hundred.
Just getting in the building is like $500. Yeah.
To the worst.
fact that we
get a good match, you go play one of the countries that somebody wants to go see, you're 1,500 in the red probably for one ticket. Like,
and it's taking me 2 hours to get into parking at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara in the tech world.
But hang on, Art.
But I like the World Cup.
Hang on, Art. I'm gonna use a phrase that I hate just as much as gaslighting, which is move the goalpost. You move the goalpost. I didn't say hang on. I didn't say are you icy mid or on fire about going to the game. I said are you icy mid or on fire about just the World Cup and watching it? Like,
that's a fact.
Do you think you're gonna watch the
match? I want to be hot. If I was on fire, I'd be at a goddamn game in my backyard.
Well, it doesn't start until like June. So you're not going to be at a game.
I was going to say all the people that are soccer fans would just rip me so hard for calling them a game. Danny, are you on the
match on the pitch? It's a match on the pitch.
Everybody? What am I saying wrong out there, pal?
It's a match on the pitch.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyhow,
you said match. You said match to start.
Game. I've been going back and forth, but yeah, it does piss me off that it's right here in our backyard and it's going to be, not something we can go to. I don't even want to take my kids to Warriors games because it's like too expensive.
I haven't been to one this year, dude. I'm not paying $500 to see Guy Santos. I'm sorry.
Well, it's actually a lot cheaper right now, but still.
No, it's not. Like lowers are still like $180.
Yeah, you can get like bad lowers for like $150.
Yeah. Hey, Warriors. Oh.
One of the funnest games I went to at Oracle Arena when the Warriors still weren't good yet. So I paid for like $35 tickets. It was the first time I ever got close. I ended up like 7 or 8 rows up watching Jameer Nelson and Dwight Howard really up close. And that was my first time being like, damn, these fools are unbelievable. Like Jameer Nelson, I mean, he was kind of known for being hella quick, but still.
He was tight, yeah.
When I was watching his fucking feet and how fast they're moving and just how quick his body was moving when you're up close. It's so fun to be at a basketball game and to know that I'll most likely never do that again. Like I can't really imagine ever being in the front 10 rows of a hoop game again. It kind of sucks. like I make pretty decent money too. Like, and I can't fucking go to be at like, I'd have to really decide I'm going to, pay like how much you got to pay to get in the 3rd, 5th, 8th row, like of a good Warriors game, $5,000, $3,000, $1,000. What is
on a bad night? It's like $2,000, $2,500.
Sucks, man. To get like 7th row or something.
Let me back up what you're saying real quick. I saw Ricky Gatewood at a Clippers game at Staples in the year the Warriors made the playoffs. Young Steph. I might have told this before, but I was like 12th row behind the hoop. $25 ticket on StubHub. Wow. Quickest person I've ever seen in my life, like that up close. Him with, it was Clay's rookie year maybe or second year, and just playing with like whoever he was with, Jared Jack, I don't know. It was so tight to watch. Monte was still there maybe.
I got 2 quick stories, and then we're running long as we usually do, and Art's home alone with the kids. So we're probably going to scrap the word. We are going to get our softball update, but I got 2 quick stories. Number 1, Matty Lou, Matt Strauss, the aforementioned, when he got butthurt because you call it Draymond Green's Warriors, and Lord knows that guy obsessed over Steph Curry. So that was the least surprising story I've ever heard. But he got his tickets courtside. He got his tickets courtside to Rockets Warriors when the Warriors sucked. And the Rockets squad was Katino Mobley, Stevie Franchise, and Yao Ming. My first take was, and I said this to Matt immediately, I said, whoever does the laundry for the Rockets knows immediately when it's Yao Ming socks. Because I was doing the math, and he wore knee-high socks. I said, the length of his leg and the length of his foot, his sock is like 4 feet long between his foot and his leg, maybe more. Anyways, that was my number 1. Number 2,
I love that. That's hilarious.
You could never ever mic up Katino Mobley and Stevie Franchise. The amount of N bombs and F bombs and S bombs and B bombs that I heard, every single word was "you bitch, mother." I can't do it, but you know what I'm saying. Everybody. They were bleeping everybody. The refs, the fans, the players, his teammates. You bitch ass bleep. But everything was bleep, 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 bleep. And I was just sitting there going like, this shit is, I was barely watching basketball. I was more just watching Cuttino Mobley and Steve Franchise. And they were both in the backcourt, so they would stand together and talk shit. Yao Ming couldn't speak English, so he wasn't really entertaining outside of the length of his sock. But outside of that, so that's one story. Number two, Artie, you mentioned
underrated backcourt, huh?
Great.
Really?
Well, yeah. Did they get to the finals? No. Western Conference Finals.
I don't care where they went. I don't care how far they went. What they did, they were raw.
Yeah, they were raw. Zach, finish up.
Yeah. Yeah, and then a second story before I forget it. Art, you mentioned Dwight Howard and Jameer Nelson. I was in New York. Only draft I've ever been to. It was back when they held it. They still hold it at Madison Square Garden? Anyways, I went to Madison Square Garden. I've actually never been there for a game, but I went there for the draft. It was the Dwight Howard draft. Two hilarious things. Number one, I love Jameer Nelson going into it, just like you know how much I love Brandon Roy because I watched him shit all over Cal when I was a student there. And
amazing.
Brandon Roy was so good. Knee injuries ruined his career. Anyway,
brought back, yeah.
Jameer Nelson is like Kemba Walker won me a lot of money in the tournament when they went all the way through. But anyways, I love Jameer Nelson. He didn't get picked till like 24 or 25, coming out of St. Joe's, I believe. And everybody wanted to leave because the first round was basically over. And everybody just stayed because Jameer Nelson hadn't gotten picked. Anyways, second funny part of the story, Dwight Howard's brother, everybody thought that Dwight Howard's brother was Dwight Howard. So that fool was literally for like hours signing autographs, taking pictures, and getting phone numbers from girls because they thought it was Dwight Howard, but it was just Dwight Howard's brother. Anyway, those are the two stories that you made me think of.
Nice. You talked Stevie Franchise and made me remember when he went to Maryland, dude, my brother was like, watch this guy, watch this kid. Just so amazing as a college hooper at Maryland. Stevie Franchise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, great on those squads. Yeah. And man,
back when people really got into like college hoops when, you know, back in our day when it meant something to be a college hooper.
Yeah. And I can just imagine because that was back when it was at Roracle and Oakland. And like I was literally on the court. I was like less than a foot. There was nothing in between me and the out of bounds line. Getting to do that at Chase now, I'm guessing is literally impossible.
Impossible.
You'd have to know the owner.
So I was there for Zach. Did you ever go to Kezar games like at the arena?
No.
So they'd have like Jay Kidd with G Payton and Sharif playing against Circus King from EC High. And my brother would take me to those, like he knew a bunch of those dudes. And so we'd be courtside watching these guys play. I think they were free games. You just needed to reserve a ticket. Incredible. Like Tony G would play. You know, it was nuts.
Yeah, time's done changed. All right, we're probably going to scrap the word because we're running late. I want to finish up on this because it is time sensitive. And if we get to it later, it'll be too late. Just basic NFL news. Kyle Murray, hear me out for our A's audience out there, because I know there's some A's fans out there listening.
For sure.
Don't forget that we drafted him in the first round. I believe 8th overall or something like that. We still have the rights to him. Kyler, come on home, baby. Football didn't work for you. You're too small. You did that great Mighty Mouse little routine. Yeah, Rookie of the Year. Shout out for that. Your touchdown to interception number's not great, but don't forget, you're a baseball star, and the A's drafted you. Come on to Sacramento, join our guys Kurtz and Butler and all the studs we got out there in Sac. Come on back to baseball, Kyler. We'll take you. I heard he was at spring training. Anyways, that's the big news. I'll get to other stuff, but I want your guys' reaction. Kyler Murray, former #1 overall pick. Again, Rookie of the Year, had some flashes, lots of injuries. You would kind of expect that based on his size and physique. But your thoughts on him being released and any thoughts on where you think he's going to go? Art?
Maybe he should go be the backup for the Niners, and the Niners should trade Mac Jones for a second.
Lila.
I'm thinking the Chiefs should get Kyler Murray to back up Patty, and we can get Trey Hendrickson on the D line, and we can get Tyreek Hill at wide receiver. And we can go win the Super Bowl. How about that? No, I don't really have
I don't know. You turn this all into Chiefs-centric.
But I think
So,
Kyler
Jake, I
Murray's
will go
still
to
be a
you. Are
backup.
you going to make this Niner-centric? Do you want
No. Do you guys remember who my favorite team is?
Cardinals.
Cardinals. Well, he's gone now.
No, it wasn't him. It was Trey McBride and Marvin. So when this happened, I was at George's, the lunch, like the tail end of the whole George services. And I was telling folks, oh, shit, Kyler just got released. They're like, who cares? I was like, man, I drafted Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison so high, like to the 03 dudes. And they're like, what? Are you an RT? You know what I mean? And I was like, nah, man, I love my cards. So no one should get Kyler. He's a joke. He's not a winning quarterback. Jacoby Brissett was so much better because I watched my cards. I actually let it play.
Oh, I know. You had to.
Yeah. And Kyler was not a winner. Jacoby Brissett, not much of a winner, but a lot better stats. Kyler, go back to Zach Sayes, wherever they play. Who knows where they're going to be?
Come on, man. I'm serious about that. I mean, look, you try.
He hasn't played. He plays video games. He doesn't play baseball anymore.
Well, you don't need a playbook in baseball. You can just go out there, be an outfielder, be fast, steal bases. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta need reps
here and
dude.
there.
You need reps.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get to the whole quarterback carousel a little bit later. But David Montgomery traded to the Texans. Art felt like there was some buzz there.
Career's over.
Yeah. Well, they don't have an offensive line.
Guy's done. David Montgomery was.
All right, that was quick.
David Montgomery was, starting to fall off in Chicago.
He wasn't.
Found himself in a perfect situation in Detroit, and I'm worried for the young man's career. I like David Montgomery, but if I had to, gun to the head, will he average 4 yards a carry? No, that's gun to the head. Going 3.9, 3.8, maybe 4.
Wow,
he ain't gonna be dynamic.
That's a low number, Art.
Yeah, I mean it's bold. So give me a more of an average number, and I'd rather
4 point.
Like
you're saying less than 4.3.
I'd say below league average is an easy take for me. How about that? I don't think he's going to do what he was doing at all in Detroit and Houston.
Does that move your needle at all, Jake? Pause.
I'll take Swift over him. That's a better running back for the Bears. So I get the switch from, you're talking about Detroit to Chicago 2 years ago or last year.
No. He went from Chicago to Detroit. Yeah. Now he went.
Swift is on the Bears.
He went from Chicago to Detroit. Now he went from Detroit to Houston.
And Swift went from Detroit to Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build this up as saying Swift is better than Montgomery, but Montgomery is not like a lost cause. Is my point.
I don't know. Montgomery, I mean, as a person that had Jameers in fantasy, and plus my father immigrated to Michigan, so the Lions are my NFC team. Montgomery was a pretty big thorn in Gibbs' side. I think what he really wants to do is be the number one guy. But the problem is Detroit has an offensive line and Houston doesn't. So, I mean, I'm not predicting a ton of success over there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it all comes down to, right? So all these Raiders fans getting their hopes up for Mendoza playing QB. If you don't have a line, he's not going to do shit. The line is really what matters.
Montgomery on Chicago in 4 years: 3.7 yards, 4.3 yards, 3.8 yards, 4.0 yards. Then he goes to Detroit. He's averaging 4.6, 4.2, 4.5. So he was like 4 yards a carry, damn near less in Chicago.
Well, again, remember, him and Gibbs were Sonic and Knuckles, which is another version of Thunder and Lightning, like Ron Dane and whoever, and with the Giants. So he was never like the electric guy. Anyways, all right, a few other guys that did not get tagged is Trey Hendrickson, as he had contract disputes with Cincinnati all the time. They couldn't have handled that worse. They could have traded him for something. Instead, they're just going to release him for nothing. They didn't franchise tag him. So now he's a full-blown free agent. He's already posted like a goodbye tweet or whatever people are doing. Alex Pierce, whose numbers surprised me. He was never on my fantasy radar, so maybe I was just surprised by that. But 1,000 yards receiving, he was not tagged. Travis Etienne, not tagged. And Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP. That just goes to show you how much the running back position is disrespected. Kenneth Walker, not tagged. And then the ones that were tagged, George Pickens in Dallas, Kyle Pitts in Atlanta, Brees Hall for the Jets, and Danny Dimes was transitionally tagged, which means it's like $4 million less than franchise tagging, but he signed a contract with somebody else, and the Colts will have to decide whether or not they're going to match that offer. Do any of those, either being tagged or not being tagged, jump out to you? I would say the biggest one for me, number one, I was surprised by Pierce's numbers. I didn't realize that they were that good. Pitts being tagged, I was surprised by. Pickens was not surprising. Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, but again, running back, not surprising. The biggest one for me is Trey Hendrickson, and it's just the Bengals, a.k.a. the Bungles, continuing to show why they are a dysfunctional organization.
Yeah. So apparently when the Niners went after Hendrickson in free agency, everyone was like, it's impossible to trade with the Bengals.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I got some shit going on.
Art?
I mean, I would say the whatever they're called, why am I blanking on the name? The tags. The tags didn't do much for me. They're all the guys that you kind of like Brees Hall is just like a tiring situation. They're annoying. The tags are annoying, is what I would say. They're guys that I wanted to see elsewhere, to see what they would look like elsewhere, and now I don't get to. Right? Like I kind of wanted to see what would Brees Hall look like on a different team, and now I don't get to. I wanted to see what Kyle Pitts would look like on a different team, and now I don't get to. And so that's sort of like my takeaway of the tags. And then Hendrickson, I'm sort of intrigued on where he goes. And my understanding is he's still like for lack of a better term, superstar. Like, isn't he one of the best D linemen in football? Isn't he real good, or did he have a bad year?
He had a little bit of a down year last year. To your point about the tags being annoying, I'm with you about 95% of the way on that, and I think it's probably going to be something that they collectively bargain out of the next deal, because it kind of sucks. Like for a guy like George Pickens, who was a little bit of a malcontent with Pittsburgh, but obviously made that Dallas offense incredibly potent last year. And I know at the I don't even want to call it the Pro Bowl, but whatever that flag football event that they put on at the Moscone Center in San Francisco, CeeDee Lamb was all about like, we got to re-sign him because I know he makes CeeDee Lamb's job a lot easier. And obviously he wants to get a deal. So it's very favorable for the owners because you can just tag the guy. And even if and now it's to the point where you're making the average of the top 5 people paid at that position. But if you're the owner, you only got to do it for 1 year, which is why I'm surprised the Bengals didn't do it with Hendrickson. But maybe it's because his productivity fell off a little bit, so they didn't want to pay him whatever. I mean, Bosa's making what, over 20, and Garrett's making what, damn near 30, 40? I mean, these edge rushers are making crazy money. So maybe they didn't even want to pay him for 1 year. I do hear you on the annoyance of it, but not so much in terms of me wanting to see these guys on other teams. I mean, I think you're saying that because you wanted Brees Hall and the Chiefs. And remember, they were this close to getting him last year at the trade deadline. The Niners were getting – why would the Niners need him?
Why wouldn't they? They need a tight end.
No, Brees Hall.
No, I was talking about – I'm sorry, you didn't hear me. No, I heard Brees Hall. Yeah, I was saying you said Brees Hall to the Chiefs, and I was saying and Pitts to the Niners would have been fun.
Oh.
Anyway, I was just sort of joking, but I know that they're –
I mean, you mean after Kittle got hurt?
Yeah, he's probably out most of the year. They could also both play together because Kittle's a true tight end. Pitts is a
yeah. That's true.
But anyway, I'm talking stage left like rags. Whenever y'all are ready, I gotta get.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking NFL franchise guys at this time of the year. It's not going to happen.
All right, you don't want Hendrickson. You don't want Hendrickson for your pass rush over there in Santa Clara.
I would. But the last thing in the world I want to think about right now is the 49ers.
Okay, fair enough. You're checking out.
He's not there anymore.
Fair enough.
The guy throwing the ball isn't there anymore. Okay.
We're not going to do the word. We're not going to do the wacky world of sports, but we are going to end with our softball update. Head coach Artavon Daveron having some struggles between the weather, between participation. You see, he's rocking his Arizona hat as they are. What is that? Arizona Wildcats. The Wildcats are out there. So Art, give us an update. Last time I talked to you, you were en route to get jerseys or replacement jerseys or substitute jerseys. What's going on? What do we have upcoming? And what kind of updates can we expect come next Tuesday at 7?
Okay, we got Big Trouble in Little China. That's an old movie if you haven't watched that movie.
Kurt Russell.
What we got here is we got a team that is not attending practice consistently, and so that's
not good.
The cohesion.
That's not good.
And the cohesiveness. So we desperately need to get this group to practice consistently. What we have ahead of us is one hell of a weekend. We got practice Friday. We got our first scrimmage on Saturday, and then we got another practice on Sunday. So we're about to get our butts in gear, and we're gonna have a hell of a weekend, and we're gonna see what's going on. We got 3 pitchers. They're going to get their first few innings of action on the season. We're going to see, can these girls throw strikes? Lord willing, they can throw some strikes. We're going to see what it looks like. We're going to get our feet wet. We got our new manager, right? I've never been a manager of a softball team. We got to get our feet wet. We got 1 month till opening day, or about 25 days. March 28th is opening day. So, yeah, the goal is you got 25 days to get these girls laughing, to get these girls yelling, to get these girls hitting the ball all over the place, and to get a couple W's in our belts as we move forward.
All right, I got a couple of questions. One, what's the difference between a scrimmage and a real game? Like, is it going to be played out like a real game? It just doesn't count, or is there a difference to like the rules and how you play it?
It's going to just be a real game, scrimmage.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Real
And
game,
how are
no
you?
rules. No rules.
How did the pitching? Where you said you got 3 pitchers? Does that include your daughter, who you're calling the eating center?
No, she won't even go out there all year. I don't even think she could eat innings yet. There's enough that goes on into the motion in softball that I've got one innings eater now, which is my daughter's bestie. She certainly can't throw a strike yet. She throws the ball into the dirt or about 20 feet in the air, but she loves it, and we're going to get her throwing strikes by the end of the year. That's the plan.
So for this scrimmage, how many innings, and how are you going to divide up the innings between the 3 pitchers?
My guess is they'll get 1 inning each because the game won't go more than 3 innings. My guess is most games won't go more than 4 innings. So
what?
You got an hour and 45-minute time limit. You got girls who can't throw strikes. These games aren't going to go 6 innings, unfortunately. Softball is just so hard to learn compared to baseball. I don't really know why they decided to make pitching that hard in softball. And so it's just much harder to throw strikes as a softball pitcher than a baseball pitcher. So they have this whole really challenging part of the game they got to deal with. And so
if your first pitcher's dealing in the first inning, you come out unscathed, aren't you going to trot her back out second?
No. I mean, you got to get everybody an inning. You know, it's a scrimmage.
You do?
I want to. Why would I not want my 3 pitchers to get an inning in?
Well, yeah, I hear you, because you're just going for experience. All right, look, fast forward to when it's a real game. If they toss a good first one, you're tossing them back out for the second one, right?
They're going 3 innings.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's a 3 inning.
I don't know the rules, man. I'm just asking questions, bro.
Oh, yeah, we're not putting a pitcher on the bench if they're dealing. If the pitcher's dealing, they're dealing, and they're going to keep dealing. There's no
run them out there. Run them out there 10 if you have to.
You know,
gotcha.
You can't do that, but yeah, we're gonna be throwing them as long as they need to get us them 9 outs.
God bless.
All right, gentlemen, love you both. Rest in peace to Georgie. It was nice seeing you guys in person today. Yeah, follow everything on Humm Daddies. Follow what they're doing. Shows on Thursday. I think I'm doing a guest appearance because some guys are going to be vacationing with the 1%ers and whatnot. You know what I mean? We'll be waiting with bated breath to see what Art does this weekend. Art, you go get him out there. You get your Humm Daddy out there with your, managing those girls in that softball league or whatnot. Rooting for you, bud. Rooting for you. You know, cautiously optimistic for you.
No matter what.
Yeah, and I'd like to add, Zach and I might have, and if Artie's available, sometimes maybe, sometimes not, might start doing some daytime shows, so it's not also late. We want to keep pumping them out for you guys.
Yeah. Trying to give you content, trying to get views, likes, subscribers, all that good stuff.
I literally had a dream that Suzanne Slusser took over KBR, fired Waterboy, and hired you and I as the morning show. So,
Waterboy, that's my guy. We're not getting rid of Waterboy.
Literally a dream last night, vivid as hell.
We can get into that off air. We're not getting into that on air, but that's good stuff. By the way, Susan Slusser, a very possible future guest here.
Yeah.
Susan Slusser, a very possible future guest. I'm just saying. She's in the
It's like
Rolodex.
it's time we put an end to that horrible chemistry going on.
Bonta and Willard are beefing on Twitter right now.
Who?
Bonta and Willard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're beefing a little bit on Twitter right now.
Who's
Real beef?
Rocky New Era 84?
Real beef or fake beef?
It depends what you mean. I mean, they're not hating each other, but they're angry at each other about their takes on Kuminga, and they're going after each other a little.
Who? Which one is D and which one is Art?
Me and Bonte are pro Kuminga.
And Willard's anti. I gotta check that out.
Willard
All right,
has been very company line because the Warriors are on 95.7 now. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, but you would think Bonte would because he does the TV side.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Who? Anyone know Rockin' New Era 84 is? Shout out for listening or watching.
Contra Costa County, baby.
Yeah, CCC.
He probably went to Contra Costa College or just Contra Costa County. If you want to let
Throw
us
those
know
C's
on the way
up.
out, comments, baby.
Whatever.
Holla. All right, boys.
All right, James.
All right.
Have a good night.
R.I.P. George.
I'm
This
about
is
to go
Heat
read
Check,
George.
sponsored by Humm Daddies. We will see you guys again soon. Like and subscribe. Have a good night, everyone.